Welcome to the Be Well Now Method podcast. This podcast is for both health professionals and health seekers who want to exercise, but want to take the stress and the struggle out of exercising. And so in this episode, we will talk about exercising well with anemia. This is part of a series of podcasts on clinical exercise coaching. Clinical exercise is using exercise as medicine and adding health coaching approaches to this so that you can tap into what you know rather than me just telling you what to do. These podcasts are really about you learning from your body and learning about what's most important to you, thus taking the stress out of exercising. So I will share both clinical exercise information, but also in a coaching approach. So let's start by clarifying what anemia is. Anemia is caused by a decrease in the quantity and the quality of your red blood cells, and it results in a decline in the capacity of the blood to carry oxygen. So we need oxygen to produce energy. When your blood carries less oxygen, you're going to feel tired, right? You know this if you have anemia. This can happen in women with menstruation that is too heavy. It can also happen with chronic illness and treatments for chronic illness like cancer and kidney disease and heart failure. There's also exercise-induced anemia that happens in females with very intense exercise. So if you find yourself with anemia, no matter what the cause, let's look at how exercise can help. Exercise can increase hemoglobin, and thus it can increase energy, not only by affecting the hemoglobin and your red blood cells, but also by helping to reduce the deconditioning that happens when you're tired and have symptoms of anemia or other chronic illnesses. That fatigue can also affect our mental health. There's a very strong connection between our body and our brain, as we know. And when we're tired and limited in what we can do, it's very easy to feel depressed and anxious. So exercising, we know, can help improve mental health, but we need to make sure we're doing it well, which is the whole purpose of this approach to exercising. We can use exercise to increase the oxygen delivery to muscles to help the growth of red blood cells. But how do we do that in the face of the challenges of anemia, like fatigue, like reduced balance, like muscle weakness, shortness of breath, the mental fog that happens with anemia, and the deconditioning that happens when you're limited in what you can do and your body's moving less. So the Be Well Now method uses an evidence-based approach that aligns with how your whole person is designed to thrive, so that exercise can be a way to be well now rather than a source of stress. So you might hear that exercise is really important when you have anemia and it can help, and you might be encouraged to exercise. And just the thought of exercising when you are tired from anemia can be stressful. Let's take the stress out of exercising with anemia. We're going to start with a little meditation though, because I don't want you to start listening to this information in the stress state. And so take a moment to just make your body comfortable. Just find where it feels comfortable and start by trusting how your body feels right now. Make those little adjustments so that it's holding you up with ease. And then just begin to feel your breath. Feel that your body is taking care of you already. It automatically knows how to do that. So you might close your eyes and feel your breath flowing in and out. And let that lead you to what you know in your center. The center of your body is a wealth of wisdom. And so just notice what you know about what's most important to you right now. Notice what you know about what's going well. What are you feeling good about in terms of treating anemia? And what challenges are there? And those challenges are a sign of what's most important to you. So what do you want as a benefit of treating anemia and having more energy? And just start to notice. Imagine that you've taken care of this anemia and you have more energy. And what are you doing with that energy that's important to you? Just take a moment to visualize that. That's a really important part that's going to guide us into the next step, the now step. So once you have that image, if your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them. Keep your body relaxed, keep your attention on your body, and know that there's a lot that you know, and hopefully this information is going to add to that. And together we can take the stress out of exercising with anemia. So we want to use exercise in a way that's going to help. And the way to do that is to align with the principles of exercise training, or the way that our body can get stronger with exercise, with or without a disease, but also the principles of movement science, how your body is designed to move well. Both of those are very important. Not always the same thing, though. When I went to school for exercise physiology, I didn't learn a lot about movement science. I learned a lot about exercise science. I had to learn the movement science on my own, but I know for sure that when you move well, the way your body's designed, then we're much more motivated to move more. So we want to align those principles of moving and exercising. And so there's 4 principles of exercise training, 4 main ones. The first one is individuality. And I think this is the most important one to address first. And I like to use mindfulness to address that. Individuality means that you're an individual. What works for one person is not going to work for the other. And the only way that you're going to know that is by listening to your body, by being mindful, being present. So mindfulness is just paying attention in the present moment with openness and curiosity and kindness. That kindness is such an important piece of mindfulness, because you might notice, yeah, I'm tired. Yes, I have this anemia and maybe some other things going along with it. And it's complicating my life and my treatment for other medical issues. And there's a whole lot of stuff going on with that. So just being present to the symptoms of anemia and the complication of that can put you in a stress state. But self-compassion, kindness, responding with kindness to that is the way that mindfulness helps to calm that stress state. So just the sense of, oh, okay, that's what's going on. What can I do to help? The same way that you likely do that for somebody else in your life. If somebody else in your life said to you, I am so tired, this anemia is just so exhausting, I am so tired, you might say to them, oh, I'm so sorry. What can I do to help? So I want you to have that same approach to yourself. It might not feel automatic, and it might not feel like it's going to help, but you know it helps you when somebody else says it to you, when you say it to somebody else. So use this mindset of mindful self-compassion to meet yourself where you are, so that the other principles can work well. Okay. So wherever you are, just notice what's going well, what's not going well. What's your starting point right now? Where's your energy right now? How are you feeling? What do you know right now? Just kind of notice that. Okay. That's individuality, just the ability to listen to your own body and respond with kindness. So important, a foundation for exercising to be well now. The next principle is specificity. So when I asked you what's important to you about this, that's going to inform what to do for exercise, specifically what to do for exercise, because our body gets stronger specifically with what we do. So in general, our body needs 3 specific types of movement. It needs mobility or freedom of movement. It needs strength, or the ability to move against gravity. And it needs stamina, the ability to move for longer periods of time. So really, for anything that we're using exercise for to help a condition or to help get stronger for anything, our body needs a balance of all 3. For anemia, yes, cardiovascular exercise is going to have the biggest impact on your hemoglobin. However, our body needs all 3 to move well. Strength exercises will also help with that, with muscle mass and returning your strength. But we need mobility to be strong and have stamina. So we need all 3. Each is important. And then making sure that you're doing each one in the specific way that's going to help. So mobility is stretching, balance, agility exercises, anything that makes you more free to move. Stretching is one of those types of exercise that I find gets underutilized. When you take mindful stretching breaks throughout the day, your body is releasing muscle tension that builds up from being stressed. When you're tired, life is stressful. It's so stressful to not have energy. And that stress tension is now draining your energy. So little stretch breaks throughout the day helps your body clear that stress state when you do it mindfully. So stretching breaks throughout the day done in a way that your body feels good from stretching. It could be a very simple stretch, like just reaching out, or full body stretch, whatever feels good, like your body's saying thank you. Doing it mindfully will help to clear that stress state and clear that tension that could be taking extra energy that you really need. The other thing it does is it's a nice anti-inflammatory. So it helps to reduce inflammation, and also mindful stretching breaks really help to get you out of the chronic stress, which slows healing. So mindful stretch breaks or mindful movement breaks throughout the day is the cure for chronic stress. It gets you out of the stress state in your brain and your body. And so that's one type of mobility exercise. Another one is balance exercises, but not doing them in a stress state as well. So remembering that our body improves balance when we're slightly out of balance. It's not when you're perfectly balanced. So set yourself up to practice balance exercises, standing at your kitchen counter on one leg, holding on to the kitchen countertop for as long as you need to feel safe, with just enough challenge to tell your body to keep that brain body connection strong so that you can be balanced or catch yourself when you fall off balance. So I have a video that I'll link about reframing our idea about balance exercises, which I think is really important to do it with a mindset that is not stressful. So that's mobility. Strength is something that will be lowered pretty quickly if you're not moving, and we can become weak not only from anemia, but from the loss of strength that happens from not moving. The first thing that goes is muscle memory when we lose strength. So the first thing we need back is muscle memory, that brain-body connection. It's kind of like a pathway in the grass that you haven't walked in a while and it grows over. And once you start walking on it regularly, you get that path back again. We've got to rebuild those connections, that brain-body pathway, that nerve pathway. So starting your strength exercises with a muscle memory level, no resistance, full focus, mindfully doing movements of everyday life that are functional to restore your strength, and then gradually adding some resistance. Another piece to this is doing functional movements, making sure that you are doing movements that are very specific to the movements that you want to do in everyday life. When you've got limited energy, you don't want to waste energy on exercises that aren't going to give you what you want from them. However, many of the strength exercises out there are based on a muscle group model, like work your triceps. Our triceps work in coordination with all these other muscles to push forward and lift overhead. They are part of a movement network. So we want our strength exercises to be movement based. Okay. So start with the muscle memory, do functional everyday life movements in your exercises and do them with full focus, with mindfulness at a level that feels good, not exhausting. Okay. And then stamina, you want to include some stamina building activity, but likely the shortness of breath and fatigue are going to make it difficult. And so we want to progress gradually in small bouts of light intensity that give you energy rather than exhausting you. It might be 5 minutes of a very light walk or 2 minutes, but putting that out in small bouts throughout your day can gradually tell your body to improve your cardiovascular system, improve the hemoglobin and the efficiency of your red blood cells. So we want cardiovascular exercise to be part of your exercise. However, meet yourself where you are, this gradual progression at a level that feels energizing, not exhausting. Okay. This takes a lot of patience, which is why that mindful self-compassion is the base, the foundation of all of this. That gradual progression is another principle of exercise training. I like to call it flexible progression because especially when you're dealing with a medical issue like anemia, you're going to have days that you're exhausted and tired, and some days you'll feel better than the others. It's like that with a lot of medical conditions or just life in general, right? So if you are listening to your body and meeting yourself where you are, your progression is likely going to be more up and down and a gradual increase, but some days you're doing less, some days you're doing more, rather than a direct linear increase. Okay. So expect that you're going to have days that you do less, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're not making progress. It means you're meeting yourself where you are and giving your body what it needs that day. Sometimes it needs less. Some days it's putting more energy into actually making those red blood cells and putting your treatments, including exercise, to work. And some days it can exercise and move more to stimulate that red blood cell growth and that return of your strength, stamina, and mobility. So listen to your body. It's letting you know what it has energy for. And do that slow, gradual progression that is likely not going to be linear. Give yourself lots of kindness on those days that you can't do as much as your brain thinks you should do. Okay. So these small bouts throughout the day are magical when you have very little energy, rather than thinking that exercise has to be this big event, a 1 hour event at the gym. Small bouts of light intensity exercise that give you energy and less pain are the key to using exercise as medicine when you're challenged by pain, fatigue, low motivation, stress, those kind of things. So keep it at the level that gives you energy. And I find that it's really helpful to write down what you're doing when you're doing these small bouts. In some way, write down what you did and how you felt so you can track what's helping and what's not. I call this thrive tracking. Very simple. What you did, I walked for 5 minutes at a light intensity. How you felt, I had more energy. I did strength exercises and I upped the weights. I had less energy. This information, this data helps your brain see that exercise is working. And when it's not helping, to help your brain figure out, okay, what can I do differently? What can I do to help? Okay. So this is a whole person approach to exercising with anemia that ensures that it is not stress producing, but it's well promoting, even as you're treating anemia or other chronic conditions. So it's mindful, it's kind, it's science based. And when you follow these steps of the Be Well Now method, you ensure that you're exercising in the well state and not letting stress drain your energy and your motivation each step of the way. So learn more about this mindful, kind, science-based approach to exercising for whole person health, taking the stress out of exercising to be well now at exercisingwell.com. Thanks for joining. Please share this episode with anyone you know who's struggling with anemia. And just remember that this advice does not replace medical advice, of course. Form a team of professionals to help you, including exercise physiologists and medical professionals, that allows you to thrive.